A couple of years ago, the leadership of City on a Hill approached me and told me they felt the time was right to do something inspired by the Song of Solomon. What they didn't know when they were telling me this was that I was going through a literal existential crisis. I was literally contemplating my existence, why I existed, if for any reason at all. I just thought this is the inevitable slide into atheism. I had no illusions about what that meant, and that was basically this. If we are the unintended byproduct of time and chance acting on matter, life has absolutely no objective meaning or purpose. As depressed as I am, I'm thinking, well, I gotta put one foot in front of the other. And I was like, well, I probably should read anything affiliated with Solomon. So I read the narratives, I get through Song of Solomon, I get through Proverbs, and then at some point in that journey, I read Ecclesiastes.
What has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun. I have seen all things done under the sun. All of them are meaningless, a chasing after wind.
I'm like, this is everything I've been feeling. And he goes on to just talk about life under the sun. Solomon is looking at life apart from any heavenly considerations. And he concludes, it has no meaning. There is no relationship, there's no occupation, there is no career milestone or achievement or material possession. There is nothing under the sun that will satisfy the deepest longings of your soul. The only person who can do that is God. But I was wondering, I know that already. Is there a God? That's what I want to know.
God.
What if he takes him away?
Why? Because he doesn't like what you're doing? Look at the world, Jed. You like what he's doing?
The song is the first project I've ever taken on as a writer, where I just owned that all the characters are some facet of yourself. We see in this film this character searching for meaning. He tries to find meaning in his marriage, and he tries to find meaning in his career and in achievement, and he attains that, but he's still like, so now what? What comes next? What does it all mean? What am I supposed to do? And then another woman enters his life and he says, well, I want to chase that. I want to try to find meaning and pleasure in destroying caution to the wind. And then ultimately there's this scene in the film where Rose says,
my only hope is that there's something bigger than this world.
What if that's a fool's hope?
Then I'll take it. I'll take it.
That's me. Both of them are me. So I know some people would say, okay, well what, Richie? Are we supposed to, in order to believe our life has meaning, just sort of embrace this fairy tale about God or Christianity? And I would just want you to ask yourself, which is the fairy tale? Because the academically fashionable narrative is that this universe just happens to exist. It doesn't have to, it just happens to. And it just happens to have all of the molecular components necessary to create the most basic life form. And those molecular components didn't just exist, but they happened to come together. And they not only happened to come together, but they happened to survive. And they not only happened to survive, but they happened to survive long enough to be able to replicate. And not only to replicate, but to replicate with change. And not only just change, but the kind of change that leads to every single biological feature we see, and some that we don't see because they were selected against. Watery eyes, cartilage in your joints and in your spine. Before you get that, you have to have planetary formation, you have to have galaxy formation and star formation, and call me anti-intellectual, I just don't buy it. What do you get for believing that narrative? Well, you get a pat on the head from academia. They'll tell you you're a good, smart, bright little boy, and you get to believe your life has no objective meaning or purpose. No thanks.
Now I understand. I was born a natural man, racing to the end, chasing after wind.
There's a lot of talk around the movie about marriage, but I think the most foundational hope you can give a person is that their life has meaning, that under heaven there is a time and a purpose and a season for everything, because that is the hope on which every other hope is built.